another episode of Public Opinion Tea Time. This is Tea Time with Vanetta and Pam. Hi. We don't have our teacups today, but that's okay.
I got a bottle of water.
Okay. This is Public Opinion Tea Time with water today.
H2O.
Sometimes we do Public Opinion Tea Time with wine.
That's my favorite.
That's your favorite. Okay. But you don't have the ability today to churn that water into wine or a tea either at this point. But this is a tea time, and we are going to be talking about the Best Man series. And I made Vanetta
I did not want to watch it yet. I was saving it.
Right. Yeah, she wanted to watch it, but she just didn't want to watch it yet because you wanted to watch it while you were recuperating from your surgery.
Something to live for. Now I'm gonna have surgery and just be laying up in the bed.
Oh, you got. I'll find you some other shows to watch.
It won't be that.
Some books to read, but I just figured everybody's watching it now, so this is the better time for us to talk about it. But okay, so first of all, did you like it overall? Okay, and then we'll
delve into it. I liked it, of course, overall.
Yeah, I liked it overall, too. I actually thought this was a really good way of kind of wrapping everything up.
It did. And I liked that it wasn't wrapped up into a nice, tidy little package. No. It was life.
It was life.
Okay?
Yes.
But some of the characters that I thought, whatever, I learned to love in the series.
Oh, okay. Who did you learn to love?
Oh, I love Shelby. I learned to love Shelby.
I did too. And isn't that funny? So many people have told me that.
I mean, because she was such a diva. You just couldn't. But what I loved is that she knows that. She knows she's so extra. Yeah. And then I loved him. Okay.
Terrence Howard.
Q.
Q. Yeah.
Okay. He was so.
I did. I mean, he just changed.
He became real. He
became real. I think that, and then once again, it's life. It's over what 20? Was it 20 years or something?
It's a 20-year span.
A 20-year span.
I got a little problem with that, but I'm going to address that.
Right.
Technical.
But it shows how you mature.
Right.
You know, and she. I mean, she was doing some crazy stuff to get him, but. The bottom line is she loved him.
She loved, and now I can say I didn't realize in the other two movies the second one that there was any love there.
Oh no, that happened in between when we didn't. That happened at like 2 years because it started up again in a year or two, about 2 years later.
Right?
Or something like after the.
It was 3 years after the first.
After the woman died.
Yeah, it was 3 years because that little girl was supposed to be 3.
After Mia died,
right?
Or something. I don't know. But at any rate, I liked that too. I liked how they matured them and
they were my favorite characters in it. I really really liked them. Now I'll tell you where my big flaw came. I did not like two. Regina King's wig. Whoever did that, they were angry with her. Okay,
her final wig wasn't that bad. The curly,
that bad is not a good thing.
But that first one, when they were in Jamaica, wherever they were,
I don't agree with you that it was the worst. The other one, the curly one that she had it pent back, it looked just ridiculous. It's just absolutely. Regina King is gorgeous. Why did somebody do her like that?
And it's not Regina King.
Oh, that's right, Regina
Hall.
Yeah, she had pissed somebody off in the makeup room. Okay,
I don't know. I think they just were trying to have her
look really beat down.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think. But those are my next favorite people.
Oh, they are my next favorite too.
I really love Merch. I like him.
I loved them when they was high. That was really cracking me up when they was dancing.
Oh yeah. But you know what? I told my son when we were watching that scene where the woman was getting the he got mad because she wanted to get the cab and he was with his daughters. And then when he saw her out again, I told my son, I said, that's a very powerful scene. And he was like, well, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was all that powerful.
Oh, it was extremely powerful.
I thought it was very powerful because you saw all of the different emotions, all of the things he wished he could do.
But what he realized and he said in his own mind, right in real time, what would happen? He does not have the luxury of going up and cussing this woman out. He doesn't have the luxury of going up and doing it, grabbing her dog or doing anything else that he wanted to do and all of those things that he was thinking in his mind. And then finally he just walked past. But he was a peaceful man, and even he wanted that.
And he because it just irritates, like, no, here I am. This is not right.
It's so wrong.
I had this cat, and then even when the police came, they're like, "Oh, you know what? Why are you making a big?" And instead of telling her,
no, she's always in the right. She was always a victim. But what I think where he just got so lost in it and all was, when the little girl looked up at him and she didn't get out the cat. She just kept looking. Yeah. And you always want to be the hero for your children.
Yes, and I see now, and I could understand how he wanted to take his frustrations out.
Oh yeah.
And so he found, you know,
he had a natural ability.
Cage boxing, where he turned the Fight Club or whatever. But but I loved when she found out that he was in it. First she was like, "What's going on?" She was so scared, but then when she got up there, she was like, "Kick his ass."
I mean, she was his ride or die.
Okay.
And they always seem to be in love, no matter what. Right, they always seem to be in love.
And that's what you want. You want a ride or die. You want somebody that's just gonna be on your side. You know.
Yeah. Now
they got, you know, they had their issues or whatever. They've always had. But they were together. They were together.
And I felt like she was suffering from something. And I just recently learned about something like imposter syndrome. She didn't feel like she was qualified or as good as him at that school. So she needed her own. Mm-hmm. And I liked that the movie wasn't predictable. Because I kind of thought, that professor was going to try to do something, and then he didn't. And then he did. Right. They got you there. They got you because double back. They double back.
But which happens so often, but even with that, the way she dealt with, she was like, she didn't want him to go running off and doing anything. No. She said, let this just be between us. And it was enough that she knew that he would have done that. You know, that he would have.
And that there was some justice coming for him. Now that made a big difference. There would be something in you that just couldn't rest, but there was some justice.
Right.
For sure. Now there's other three characters we have, four I haven't spoken about. Okay. I like Jordan. I still like Jordan. Yeah. Okay. And I think she was finding her way, and she was very real.
Jordan is so many women who are very, very good at what they do. They have risen to high statuses, but has never really found that someone
that completion
that they could settle down with, and she always, I believe, kind of had a crush or whatever you want to call it on
Tay Diggs. What's his name? Harper.
Harper, yes.
It was more than a crush. It was what it was. She thought they missed their moment. He got away.
That got away.
Yeah, that's how she felt.
I can't say that she pined for him always.
No, because she went and did her own.
Yeah, but I do think that I think that she did she would have gone, they would have slept together had it not been for the phone call. Hugh having a heart attack or whatever. But
okay, that was intervention, divine intervention.
But
I don't think it really made a difference, if the truth be told.
But I will say, I don't think that Robin should have ever married
that's what you said,
Harper, because if you remember in the beginning, when first of all he did that whole public he asked her to marry him at their wedding. And so I'm just
put her on the spot.
And she had already found out that he almost had slept with.
And only because the opportunity was gone.
Once again,
it wasn't that he was a man and chose.
So she should have known then, I'm going to think about this. But I think he put her in such a kind of bad position. I think she probably felt like she had to
a lot of people say yes in the moment. Yeah. But she could have come back. I didn't like her character in the second one, and I truly disliked her all through this.
Really?
She had no self-confidence. She was so scattered. I agree with him. Why would I put some money down? You called me I'm out of the country or out of the city at least.
Yeah, now I did not like the choice to go to Ghana. Really, you're just gonna take your child away? What about the fact that he is the father and he still needs to have a
but I'm talking about even before she got to that. She was so all over the map with him, and she never felt good about her. She said, I don't want you to make me into the Robin you want me to be. Yeah. But you never made yourself into the Robin you needed to be.
But I didn't dislike her.
I didn't like her at all.
I think a lot of women do that. I think a lot of women give up a lot for their husbands.
Women
and
give
for
up
their
something.
And that's the point. I think the point they were making with her character is she's always been sacrificial. She's always gone along and done. Just like how he wanted to get that house. She didn't. That's not the house she really wanted, but she went on ahead and
but
did
who
it.
Doesn't do that?
And,
Who
but
does?
that's what I'm saying.
That is marriage.
That absolutely, that is marriage. But I think, and that's why I just didn't like the final thing. I
didn't like her at all. No bit of it. I felt like he didn't stop you from having what you wanted to have. It's reasonable that you had to have it in this country, on this continent.
Yeah.
Okay, that just was a reasonable request. But I'm going to tell you, and possibly I didn't like her, because when that little girl went to crying and said, Daddy, don't leave me.
Yeah.
I saw myself as a 12-year-old little girl when my mother and father broke up. I cried the rest of the night.
Well, yeah, I remember when my father moved out, and I was afraid because I said people are going to break in the house, and my father's not going to be here to protect the house. But he wasn't moving out of the country. I wasn't moving out of the country.
Yeah, but I mean, they made that very real.
So,
she said, Daddy, don't leave me.
Yeah.
And it still gets me. It brought up a lot of emotions that I probably haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
I really didn't like. I mean, it was well done.
Yeah.
But I thought that was way too far to the left to be leaving to go to Ghana. And for what?
Yeah, I didn't like. But my favorite scene was when he was in the house by himself and his 3 friends came out. I said
no words needed.
And that's what wasn't that wonderful? They hardly said a word, and that was purposeful. And that was purposeful because there's so many times when I know there's nothing I could say, but I'll just come, if I could just come over, or just be there for you, or just sit there. And
we've
so
had that. We've had that as friends, just be in the room.
But I loved it. They came in, each one of them came
one at a time. I was like, why didn't he shut that door?
I think they probably all had gotten there, and the other one just left it open. He knew that was. But I loved it how they just came in and started getting it to work. One of them was fixing up the snacks. The other one was doing it. Q was fixing the drinks. And
why did he keep drinking all the time? Okay, now I'm just. Let me say this. Let's flip back a little bit. When she went to that party, that New Year's party or whatever that party was they was having, and she cussed him out in front of everybody. Do you remember that Robin came in and cussed out Harper and told him how selfish she was because he filed child support?
Oh no, that was the party honoring Lance.
Okay, now I'm about to talk about him.
It was a party honoring Lance.
I love that one because she read it, him, and then he started reading everybody else.
Oh yeah, he started reading everybody.
I was like, oh.
But once again, Q was trying to
keep my wife's name out of your mouth. And she was like, you think that's funny?
Right. Exactly. That was funny.
But it really, they took sides because Candace, her role, she told him, F you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody, they kind of lined up. But what I felt like with Robin, Candace was on the outside of that circle, too, because that was everybody I went to school with.
Oh, yeah. She was but she
didn't let that.
Robin was an outsider.
Robin, but no, I'm saying Candace was as well. But Robin didn't, Candace didn't let that define her.
Candace kind of moved more into becoming friends with them because she and Shelby ended up.
Now, when they became friends, that shows growth.
Being friends. And now we have to talk about before our time is Lance's son and his.
No, I'm mad with Lance. He was my man all down.
Well, why were you mad with him?
I just felt like he had more of a spiritual foundation and purpose. All he was doing was having sex.
Well, that was. You don't know how a lot of times people deal with grief, and that was how he was dealing with his grief. But he came out of that, and I'm glad he met that woman. That woman, I think, was. I knew he would end up. Now that I was thinking he would end up, but now we have to talk about his son and his being the gender fluid and how he dealt with that. And I think he dealt with that. Or I think his first reaction was like a lot of men who would, especially men who were macho and defined by
and he had
masculinity.
Another future for that boy.
Yeah.
Now, first I thought it was quite foolish for them to be downstairs and knowing they were upstairs and him dressing and doing the videos. I think that reaction was quite normal. I think where he went after that to just say it's a phase, we've come too far as people to think of it as a phase.
Well, I guess, no. That's just his reaction. You can't say everybody because there's still so many people that are not willing to accept. At least he did come around and he understood. And
it took a lot. Well, he thought the boy was dead.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's what,
It hurt me when the boy said, sometimes I wish it were you.
I know. That died instead of mom.
That hurt me. That hurt me for him.
Yeah. But you know, it's so funny. We're talking like these are real people.
They are to me. Now, they are to me. And I really hope that the final chapter means chapters.
Yes.
Left off the
but
S.
You know what? The fact that there's so many people who are talking about this like they are real people speaks to how well done this entire... And you don't come across a series where... Each one of them have been very good, and people really are committed to these characters.
Right, you know, they evolved. I'll say every character evolved except Robin. She was stagnant. She did not change over the time. She didn't get her footing. She just wasn't confident. I didn't like her. But I loved everybody else. And like I told you a few years ago, no matter what I'm watching, if I'm flipping through the channels and I see one or two, I watch a few minutes.
And I'm gonna go back and watch this again too because I want to go back and see some little things. But it was very well done. It's a testament to Malcolm Lee and his franchise of this movie. The whole all of that.
One thing he didn't do well was age those children appropriately. Candace and Merce's children were too young, and when they said that little girl,
No. But they ended up being older.
They did, but they should have been the same age as Shelby and that other little boy. They should have been older than like that driving and stuff. They were still driving them around. But no, the biggest one.
But maybe they just didn't have her. The one girl was 16 though. The one that had I don't know what was she?
She has anxiety.
Yeah,
but she wasn't supposed to be as old as remember she said that Kennedy was a little too much sometime to take, and they were supposed to be the same age. But that little Mia, she was supposed to be going to the first grade. Now, she should have been at least 10 years old. At least.
Well, she was about 10 years old.
No, he said she was going to the first grade. They didn't tell us that she had some
whatever,
problems.
give or take. Why would that be?
That
you're a nitpicky person. You're going to get down to that little nitpicky stuff.
It's too much. They should have aged the children.
It was wonderful.
Call me for technical.
I loved it. And I want to hear what you all have to say about this as well. Make sure you watch finish all of the episodes and let us know if you agree or what you feel about each one of them. Until next time, we have really run over our time on this tea time, but hopefully it'll be okay. And we will see you for another episode of Public Opinion Tea Time with Pam and Vanetta. Bye-bye.